Okay, page 32. Okay, so here, this lesson we're going to look at long division. Come on. Straight long. No, I'm trying to fix it. Just
no, it's fine.
Do you mean like
it isn't that we still can see?
Is it the one with the then you have to denominator?
Okay, so long division then, but this long division is for quadratics and cubics and so on, not just regular long division. But just before we start it, I'll just give you, just to remind you of the process, just from elementary school, just the basic idea, the basic steps, okay? So for example, I don't know, if you said 25 into 101, what first you try to match it as best you can. So you think, okay, if I put a 4 here, 4 times 25, what's that? Well, that's 100. And then the remainder here is 1. And then if you had extra pieces here, what happens to them? They go down, don't they? And then you start again. So this is the cycle. But I mean, you learned that in elementary school, but we're going to use the same process for more complicated problems. Like in the first one here, dividing a cubic by x minus 2.
Wouldn't you divide 1 to get like
It's a very strange way you use.
No, this one, this is, all I'm trying to show you here is just a cycle idea, that's all. This isn't a class on elementary school long division. I would hope you're okay with that. Okay, so for example, we have x minus 2 and we want to divide that into 36x cubed minus 59x squared minus 25x minus 2. Okay?
Is it that you have to divide that by some number and then multiply it with
Okay, well, we'll look at it now. So what you do, first, no, shh, come on guys. No, this is presentation time, so you listen. So what you do first is you take the x here, and you look at it here, and you ask yourself, what do I multiply x by to make 36x cubed? And the answer is 36x squared. Then you do the actual multiplying. So 36 multiply x is 36x squared. And 36x squared multiply minus 2 is minus 72x squared. And then you finish by subtracting. So can you type in, please?
x cubed?
Sorry, yeah, that's a 3 there. Minus 59 minus 72. 13x squared. And then you bring these pieces down at the end. And then you start again. So you look at the x and you look at the 13x squared and you say, okay, I need 13x here because 13x multiply x is 13x squared. Can I wait till the end?
No.
It's a mistake?
No, it's a question.
Oh.
It was like minus 7.
Yes.
So it's still minus 7. So it should be, what?
It's minus 59 minus 72.
Okay.
Is it 13? Someone told me that, yeah?
13.
Okay. Now, as I was saying, 13x by x is 13x squared. 13x by minus 2 is minus 26x. Okay. And again, you do your minus. They will go, and you'll be left with minus 25 minus 26x. So that'll just be x, 1x.
Minus 2.
minus 2.
Plus 1.
Yeah. Now, the last one here will be plus 1. And we just make a bit more space. Because 1 by x is x. And 1 by minus 2 is minus 2. And that's actually nice. That's 0. What's the name of this number at the end? Does anyone know it? Remainder, yeah. And
what if we would get
that's fine. The
not
question
0 but 1?
That's fine. The question didn't say anything about what the remainder needs to be, so just it's fine.
No, I mean, what will we do with
Oh, still remainder is 1. Yeah, you say
no, I mean, no, where do we put the remainder next?
If there was a remainder.
If there was a remainder which equals to 2. for
no,
example.
no. If this was in the exam, which it has been, it would just say divide this by x minus 2, and this whole thing is the answer. Just stays like that. Okay.
Even if there was like a number in there.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
What do the question mean?
That's what I was just about to say. And anyone else? Yes. So here, you just need to give me a minute. I know what I'm doing, okay? This is here up the top. I was going to ask who knows what it's called. Well, it's called the quotient. So this answer up the top here, that's called the quotient. And this answer down the bottom here, that's called the remainder. I'll do another example, yes. This is called the quotient, this is called the remainder, and this is a minus. Yes?
I still do.
Is there any other way to solve this?
Yes. No, well, you still need to use long division, but I notice in some places they have a different process, a different procedure, which is fine. I think in Latin American countries they have some other one, and I can't remember what it is, but someone else has seen this as well? Yeah.
We do it.
Yeah, I can't remember what this method is called. It's still a long division, it's just done a different way, but it's perfectly fine.
What's the purpose of getting that number
Yeah.
of the quotient?
This will come in time. I will show you now in a moment the interpretation of this.
It also has something else.
Yeah.
I still didn't understand what will we do if we will have the remainder, which is bigger than
But maybe after my next presentation, it will be clear, okay? So I'm just going to explain the purpose and interpretation of this result. So if you think back you know what, I'll tell you what, let me do an example without a remainder to demonstrate, okay? So I'll do another example first, then I'll talk more about what it means. So I'm going to do 1c. Can I scroll down? Yeah. So 1c is... By the way, guys, questions are good, but I actually know the questions you're going to ask me before you ask me, because, you know, you are not different compared to the 12 other groups of students I had. Yes, I'm sorry.
How many?
12 other IFYs I've had, okay? Yeah, oh, you're lucky number 13.
Is that X minus 2?
No, this I'm doing D, didn't I say?
You said C.
I said C. Well, D also works. I'm doing D. I already wrote -1. 20 x cubed minus 13x squared minus 56x plus 50. Okay, so long division. Let's try and do this one a little bit quicker. I need to put 20x here because 20x multiplies to make 20x cubed minus 20x.
That's good.
Yes, I keep there. Okay. Now, I minus, and I go, minus 13 minus 20, 7x squared. And then these get carried down. And I start again. And here I would need 7x, because 7x by x is 7x squared. And then 7x by -1 is minus 7x. And again I subtract. Minus 56 minus -7, minus 49x plus 50 carried down. And my last number here must be minus 49. So here I get minus 49x plus 49. And when I subtract here, I have 1. Yes, it is that dramatic. What is the meaning of this? Well, let's have a look at the side here. Don't worry, I'll go back to this in a moment if you don't have it. But just to go back to our earlier example, if I say 25 into 101, that's 4. And what's the remainder? 1. So if you think about it, I can now say 101 equals 25 multiply 4 plus 1. So that's what it allows me to say. So for example, if I had something linear divided into something here, cubic, and here's the quotient, and then there's the remainder, I can now say the C equals L multiply Q plus R. Okay, so I can go back now, that's the idea. I can go back to this one, and I can now say over here, for example, I'll squeeze it down the bottom here, 20x cubed minus 13x squared minus 56x plus 50 equals x minus 1 times 20x squared plus 7x minus 49 plus 1. So that's what the long division process allows me to do. It allows me to change this cubic into a linear, multiply a quadratic, plus a remainder. Not quite, but there's something in the next lesson that...
So basically it helps us to find all variables.
Yes, yeah. Because if you notice, when my last example, what was the remainder? It was 0. So if the remainder was 0, this piece here is gone. And you noticed you have something that looks like the factors. Remember this verb, factorize?
Yes.
Yeah. So you learned how to factorize the quadratic, didn't you?
Yeah.
So if there was no remainder, you could now have 1, 2, 3 factors. So what long division allows you to do is to factorize. And we'll do more of that later. But just for right now, that's all you need to know from the start. That long division lets you change your cubic into linear, quadratic, plus a number. Okay? Yep. Oh yeah, no, I know. There's an interpretation to put in x as 1, which we'll talk about in a separate lesson. You're using something called the remainder term. That's a separate lesson. Okay, I'm going to do an example now that's long division, but a little more difficult. So I'm going to do the 1L. So it's a little bit more difficult because it's 6x plus 5. Okay, can I scroll down? Yep. Okay, so if we take 6x plus 5 divided into 42x cubed plus 17x squared minus 15x. Alright, so firstly, here I think... What's wrong? Yeah, what would I need here first? 7x squared. So I'd get 42x cubed plus 5x squared. And when I subtract... 30, that's a 3 there. 35x squared. And when I subtract 17 minus 35...
18 minus...
Minus, isn't it?
Minus
18 squared. And that comes down. Right, what do I need next? Yeah, minus 3x, because that will make minus 18x squared. That's what I need. Minus 15x. And then here is 0. So if you want, you can now say 42x cubed plus 17x squared minus 15x equals 6x plus 5 times 7x squared minus 3x. If you multiply these two, you do get this cubic here.
You have to write it in this way?
No. This question in the exam, they just want to see that.
So it's just to check him.
It's just a discussion, that's all. Okay, I'm going to go on now. Just a little bit of vocabulary, okay? When the remainder is not 0, we say x minus 1 is not a factor. But if the remainder is 0, like here, we say this one here, 6x plus 5 is a factor. So that's vocabulary for you. So if I ask you, is something a factor, what I'm asking you to do is to do long division, and check if the remainder is 0 or not. Okay.
It's a factor of 42.
Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at number 3 now. Yeah, sure.
It's 2, is it the same as 1?
2 is the same as 1, it's just a bit of vocabulary. So I ask you to check if they're factors or not. That's all. Okay, number 3. Okay, can I scroll down now? Yep. So in number 3, I have this 5x cubed minus 12x squared plus 7x minus 6 all over x minus 2. And I ask you to simplify. Now if you think about it, this here, hang on, what's wrong? Question? Daniel? No? So here, if I ask you to simplify it, if you think about it, this here has the same meaning as 5x cubed minus 12x squared plus 7x minus 6 divided by x minus 2. They're the same thing. Like, that's what a fraction is after all. And then you realize, oh, I know how to divide this. I can use long division to divide this. So we'll do x minus 2 divided into it now. 5x squared minus 12x squared plus 7x minus 6. Okay, so let's see what we can do. This will be 5x. So this is, this is 5x. Sorry, that's a 3. It doesn't look like it, I know. That's a 3. Okay. 5x squared, that will make 5x cubed minus 10x squared. When I subtract, what do I have? Yeah, it'll be minus 2x squared, yeah. Minus 7x minus 6. Plus, sorry. Now, what's next? Yeah, minus 2x, isn't it? So you got minus 2x squared plus 4x. So what's left here? 3x minus 6. So what do I need here? 3. And what do I get when I multiply by 3? 3 and minus 6. So you're finished.
If you combine the 5x squared minus
yeah, so what you do now, you recognize that this cubic on the top, you can write that now as x minus 2 multiply 5x squared minus 2x plus 3 all over x minus 2. They cancel. In other words, the answer here is just this number. Okay, so this long division, it also allowed you to simplify this fraction. So the answer is that there. Okay. Can I scroll down? Yep. Okay. Okay, so on the next one here, next type is we want to factorize 9x cubed plus 14x squared plus 9x plus 4. How many factors does a quadratic have? 2. So this cubic should have 3. So this should have 1, 2, 3 factors. Okay, so before I start, we are looking for the 3 factors. Like what we did with the quadratic, we were looking for the 2 factors.
Is that from Kushner?
This is 4a, this one. Now, I tell you one of the factors. What do I say one of the factors are?
X plus 1.
X plus 1. So I don't know this one, and I don't know this one. Okay? What I do next is I divide both sides by x plus 1. So what happens here? They cancel. And this type of problem, we just did it, didn't we? It's the long division. So let's do long division here. So I'll just try and fit it in here in the middle. X plus 1 divided into 9x cubed plus 4. I'll still write it. I'm just making more space. Yep. It's given in the question.
Will we have any questions where we have to factorize but we don't know any of
Yep.
Like we don't know the hint?
Yep.
Later?
Too soon.
Will
Okay.
you teach it?
Yes. That's my job. Okay. Let's do this long division. Right, so what do I need first here?
9x squared.
9. Now, I'm only writing it up here because that's going to be the answer, okay? 9x squared. And then when I multiply, I get 9x cubed plus 9x squared. Good. And when I subtract, yep, 5x squared, isn't it?
Yeah.
Plus 9x plus 4. So what's the next number?
5x.
5x. So when I multiply by 5x, what do I get? 5x squared plus 5x. I subtract, what am I left with? 4x plus 4. So what's the next number? 4. So that's 4x plus 4, again, 0. That's a 4. Now the reason I did the space there is this is almost like rough work. Okay? So this whole fraction here, that turns into this here. Equals factor. So if I can factorize this, then I have found the other 2 factors. Sometimes I can factorize it. Sometimes I can't.
No, you can't.
In this case, can I or can I not?
No.
Well, the way we can check is we can check how many roots it has. So if I do discriminant equals b squared minus 4ac, what's that? Minus 150 something, isn't it? What is it? What's
126.
whatever it is?
126.
It's going to be negative. So how many roots does a negative have? None. So this has no roots. It has no factors. So I That's the end of it. I have the answer up here. The factors are x plus 1 multiply 9x squared plus 5x plus 4. I was unable to factorize it further. It's a complicated example. I'll do another one, okay? That's a bit messy. I'll do another one. I'll do one that actually has factors. That's like C. I'll do 4C. Okay, can I go on to 4C? Yes? Okay, 4C now. Okay, so I want the three factors here. So what do we do first? Well, I know x minus 1 is one of the factors, so I divide it in. Alright. 7x squared, 7x cubed minus 7x squared. What's that? 48, is it? X squared plus 77x minus 30. Is that right? 48 here, yeah? No? 47, sorry. Oh yeah, the minus there, thank you. So what do I have here? Minus 47x minus 47x squared plus 47x. Okay, I see where this is going. I see what you did there. 30x minus 30. So what's at the end? Yes, 30. And what do I get? 30x minus 30, remainder 0. We have one of the factors already. What is that?
X minus 1.
Yeah, x minus 1. And where do we get the other two factors from? Well, we get it from this here. Now, this does have factors. The factors are, all right, it's going to be a 7x, it's going to be an x, it's probably going to be 15 and 2, is it? 6 and 5. 6 here, 5 here, minus and a minus. Yeah. Yeah. So this, whoops.
5x plus 7 minus 7.
7x minus 5, yeah. So this is the answer. This cubic has three factors. What are the factors? The first one I'm given, the second one I found, and the third one I found. Okay, so I'll write it down here. 7x cubed minus 54x squared plus 77x minus 30. That has three factors. The first one I got, and the other two I got from the, what's the name of this here? Quotient. So the first one I was given, and then these two I get from the quotient. And this only works if the remainder is 0. But the remainder should be 0 because we are told that x minus 1 is a factor. Okay, there's lots of vocabulary there. Make sure you write that down clearly. So in the exam they would say something like x minus 1 is a factor of 7x cubed minus 54x squared plus 77x minus 30. Factorize the cubic. First factor they gave me. Other two factors I get from the quotient in the long division. Okay? Can you do this? If they don't give you a factor, yes, that's a different lesson. For today, you're given a factor. Okay, there's one more example to do, so make sure you have this one taken down. This is very, very common in the exam. Okay? I would say this is in the exam 90% of the time. In fact, maybe even 100%. I can't really think of an exam that doesn't have long division in it. Okay? So, long division should be in your exam. So you were lucky you woke up because I was going to come down there and, well, you'll find out next time you fall asleep. Okay, did you have that taken down?
Yep.
Am I boring you? You sure? Long division is not exciting enough for you? Okay, can I scroll down?
Yes.
Yep, okay, so last example now. I will do 5G. 5G. Now, you can actually, yep.
Is it like difference between cubes or something?
Ah, yeah, but we're not even going to use that formula, but you're right, it is difference of cubes. Here, what's different about this one is it has an x and a y in it. But you can still use long division to simplify this fraction. So let me show you. So this equals, and let's get the answer from long division here. X minus y divide into x cubed minus y cubed. Let me write that a bit clearer. Okay, so this, I'll just focus. Now, no, listen. Before I start, again, long division, you can use it here, even though it's x and y. The only thing I need for this to work is the remainder must be 0. If the remainder is not 0, then it doesn't work, okay? I'll give you an example just before I start. So, like, for example, if I said, let's go back to my example, 101 over 25. It is wrong to say that that is 4. Because when we did the long division, I got a remainder of 1. Okay? So, for this to work, there needs to be no remainder. And I don't know if that's true. Now, it is true because I made the questions have no remainder for this one here. But you don't necessarily know that it's true. Okay, so let's see what we get when we do the long division. Now, you have to pay attention carefully because the x and the y does make it a bit more complicated. So let me just make enough space. Okay. So what do I need first? Do I still need x squared or is it different?
X minus y squared, x squared.
I still need x squared. I still need to try and match the first and the first. So when I multiply, I get this time x cubed minus x squared y. Now this is a bit different when I subtract. These cancel, but do these do anything? No. So it stays as minus y cubed minus so plus x squared y. Now, I'll just pause there for a minute.
Can you?
Now, just pause for a minute. So, are we okay with up to there?
Yeah.
Now, you might be tempted on the next line to say, okay, I have an x, you see there? And you might say, what do I multiply x by to make it y cubed? Now that's kind of silly, isn't it? Because it'll be messy.
You just multiply
Yeah.
by y squared because you have y.
Yeah. Instead, look at the y. So what I'm telling you now is normally, now listen, normally we try to match the first with the first. But we don't have to. We just need to match one of them. We just need to match one so that when we minus, we can cancel something. That's all you really need. It's too difficult to match something here with the x. But as you said, if I multiply by y squared, what do I get in the front? I get y squared x. And then what will be next? Y cubed, which I have here. So I can cancel this y cubed. Okay, so let's multiply by Yeah,
No, just y squared.
I think just y squared. So if I do y squared, I'd get xy squared, and then I'd get minus y cubed. Now, when I subtract, they cancel, and what am I left with? X squared y. X squared y minus xy squared. Yeah? Okay. Now, what do I multiply now? Well, what do I multiply x by to make it x squared y? Yeah, can anybody see that now? Can I make x into x squared y? I can. What would I multiply x by to make it x squared y? xy. So let me put xy here. So xy multiply x, what's that? X squared y. And then xy multiply minus y minus x y squared subtract 0. So this is x squared plus xy plus y squared. And then Sultan, you mentioned something earlier. What did you say? Difference of cubes is what you said. This is the answer. But I want to show you something that maybe you saw in high school. If I take this up to the right, I get this.
If you get
X cubed minus y cubed equals x squared plus xy plus y squared multiply xy. Now that's actually a formula you do in some high schools. It's called the difference of two cubes. I'm showing you how you could have gotten that formula by using this long division on the original x cubed minus y cubed over x minus y. And the most important point of this example is that long division works when it's x and y, doesn't need to be only x, and you don't have to match up the front. You can match something else up. You just need to match up one thing, so they cancel. That's the key point with this example here. It will never be more difficult than this in the exam, okay? In fact, I think I saw this in the exam maybe only one time out of 12 exams, okay? So it really is, I'm only doing this just in case you have it in the exam, but it's likely that you won't have this in the exam. Okay? Make sure you write that down carefully, please. Okay, let's see what we can do for homework. Wait, did you write this down? Yeah, so just be quiet. I'm thinking what would be the best ones for you to do. The last two in each. The last two. So,
How many in total?
2, 4, 6, 8, 10 questions. I think that is reasonable. Yeah?
Yeah.
Over reasonable.
No.
So reasonable.
Yeah. Not even going to respond to that. Actually, also, the last two, but I would also like you to do a simpler one from the first one. So if you could also do an F as well from the first one. Okay. So it'll be F, K, L, E, F, H, I, G, H, G, H. So it's the last two and F from the first one, just because it's an easier one. No, don't act up. Good man. I want to make sure you can do these before you go, so I want everybody to at least try to get one F and one K finished before you go. So do one F and one K now, please. One F and one K now. Sultan, Ali,
Mr. Steven.
Sam,
Is that low Joseph?
just work. Now you're drawing my attention to you too much. Just work.
so unpleased.
What? Do you like fishing with Eurovision?
Eurovision.
Yeah, that is it.
What is Eurovision?
It's like-
Oh, is it like the competition where people sing? The question. I know that like, few times Russians won. Right? I know that Russians won a few times, right?
I didn't watch it, but like I know a couple of songs.
You're more European than me.
Which is
I'm Middle Eastern, which is Israeli. But I was born there.
so year 1, year 2, year 3 of tablets there.
No, but I know lots of things about Israel. I studied the history of Israel in school. Yes, I can tell you about Palestine too. And he killed as many Palestinians as we do. Jordanians.
No, I mean, it's
Arabs. It's too complicated. Sorry.
I want to see how you're going, how this one's going. This is the one we're doing now.